last night as I lay dreaming of pleasant days gone by, my mind being bent on rambling, to island I did fly. I stepped on board a vision and followed with the wind, when next I came to anchor at the cross of Spancil Hill. It being the 23rd of June, the day before the fair, when island sons and daughters in crowds assemble there, the young, the old, the brave and the bold, their journeys to fulfill. There was jovial conversation at the cross of Spancil Hill. I went to see my neighbours, to hear what they might say, but the old ones were all dead and gone, and the young ones turning grey. And I met with the tailor quickly, he's as bald as ever still. He used to make me breeches when I lived in Spancil Hill. I paid a flying visit to my one and only love. She's as white as any lily, she's as gentle as the dove. And she threw her arms around me, saying, Johnny, I love you still. She is Nell, the farmer's daughter, and the pride of Spancil Hill. I dreamt I hugged and kissed her, as in the days of yore, but she said, Johnny, you're only joking, as many as the time before. And the cock he crew in the morning, he crew both loud and shrill. And I awoke in California, many miles from Spancil Hill.
That's a song that's from my side of the family. My dad used to sing that to us when we were little. So I've sort of known that song all my life. But when I met Heidi, it actually works out that it's a song that is particular to her family as well, because we both have Irish relatives. My dad's Irish and your dad's half Irish, is that right?
3/4 Irish.
3/4 Irish.
You know, he's got relatives from Athenry in Galway and some other, his mum's side from Sligo as well. So we actually could be related.
Oh. Right.
It's a little bit different to the rest of the songs on your album. How did you sort of make the selection? Was it that personal connection?
I think it was definitely the personal connection, and I think as our music's going to develop, we're going to use more of that side of our kind of experience and knowledge, because it's such a beautiful song, and we wanted to show that it isn't just, we do write a lot of our own songs, but they are self-penned.
Yeah,
but that's another side to our music, isn't it?
Yeah, it's another side. I mean, you know, some might say it's quite arrogant just to do an album full of songs that you've written, and you know, and it's really lovely to sort of pay sort of homage to, you know, old traditional songs and keep them alive, and that is something we're passionate about as well. So we want to keep that side of things going, as well as writing our own songs about things that, you know, we're passionate about.
Do you know if it's a true story?
It is actually a true story, because I can tell you that because we went out for tea with Seamus, Belinda's dad, on Sunday night, and he said that his dad or his granddad knew the man that went to California. So there is an actual connection in the family to that song.
Can I just say that during this meal, I was sat farther away from them and didn't hear any of that, so that's news to me.
Yeah, your dad or your grandparents knew the guy in the song.
That's fantastic, because it's set at a horse fair in, he dreams he's back
from
at the
County
horse
Clare,
fair.
isn't it?
Yeah, at Spancil Hill.
Yeah.
And he dreams about wanting to go back there. And I suppose there's a lot of songs that were written sort of just after the famine, when people were emigrating to America. And I've written a song myself called Whitethorn, which is based on my great-grandmother and her experiences after the famine of losing children and that kind of thing. So it kind of sets the scene as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we're already planning the next album, and there's, I think, going to be a further Irish influence on that album.
Yeah.
When you're writing and arranging songs, do you have a standard process of how you work together, or is it quite organic?
It's kind of evolved, hasn't it?
I think the one that seems to be the one that we're using more and more often is tend to write lyrics first. I'm a firm believer, I think you are as well, that you've got to get the lyrics right, and you must try to be as uncliched as possible and say things in a way that maybe hasn't been said before, if you can. And we usually go for a long walk, don't we, and brainstorm and have ideas while we're walking, and then come home. And I usually write the first draft of the song.
I'm really sort of like, I procrastinate and I can't start. So normally Belinda has to get the pen and the paper and start writing, and that's where I'll sort of come in and help.
And usually she tells me the first draft is rubbish. So she's like a very kind of hard, you know, newspaper editor.
I'm quite a critic, but I'm my own biggest critic.
And then we kind of rewrite it together, don't we? And then once we've got the lyrics right, that's when we'll go to the piano and start to work out the chord structures and again try to do something, well, nothing's original, but try to do something as original as we can really with it. And then we work out who's going to sing it.
And then we've got the harmonies to work out. But it is a fun process, and sometimes the process can take months for one song.
Yeah.
And other times we've written a song really quickly.
One that didn't take very long at all was Shelter Me, which is the track 3 on the album, which is a kind of alternative love song. I wrote the chorus and the first verse in about 3 minutes. Then I said to Heidi, you write the second verse. And it's all about, it says, shelter me from the rain, cover my head with your big umbrella. Clouds not just outside, threaten to, what?
Spoil the sun with shadows.
Yeah. And there's 2 verses. There's one about if you were a bird, I'd perch on your head and all this kind of stuff.
And then mine was a kind of reply to that. So if I was a cloud, like, just kind of...
I'd lay my heart in your cotton wool.
Sort of an
Acting it out now.
An impressionistic love song, but it did come very quickly.
Yeah, and it was really, and also recording it, we do all this kind of odd vocal stuff at the end, using recording techniques. We kind of repeat lines and create rhythms, and that was totally organic. That happened just
that
in
happened
the recording
as we were
process.
recording it, so that was very quick.
So the whole thing was quick, wasn't it?
Quick.
One that took forever, Flight of Petrol.
Oh, God, yeah. That was a long process.
Yeah, just lots of ideas. Simon Emerson asked me to write a song about a petrel bird because he's really into bird watching. I didn't even know what one was. The petrel cry, the fishermen thought it was either mermaids singing or it was
the storm coming.
Or it was the fishermen that had died.
It was their spirits.
Their ghosts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's loads of stories and myths about it.
And there was so much to write about, and we wanted to connect it in with the environment and things that are happening in our communities. So all these different ideas, and it was just how to put them all together into a song.
Yes, that took some time.
And it took forever.
On the album, Cold and Stiff is very much a protest song, and you played here at Cecil Sharp House for Nazi Queer as Folk, and you've also played for Folk Against Fascism. Is it important for you to support causes that you believe in and be a bit sort of political in your music?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, we're with No Masters, which is the Northern-based cooperative, and as the name sort of suggests, it's kind of not a political statement as such, but there's no boss. we all work together, we all make decisions together. And obviously working with Chumbawamba, who have got, you know, just very sorted politics, in my opinion anyway. That has influenced us a lot.
Inspiring.
And inspired us, and people like Coot Boys and Simpson and Ray Hearn. And they really do write about what they care about, and that has inspired us to do the same. And we've sort of shifted more and more in that direction now.
So Neil Ferguson mixed and mastered our album. And I have to say, because I have worked with quite a few producers and people that usually take your music and they say, right, this is what we're going to do with it. And you feel very much like it's been taken out of your hands, whereas with Neil, he's very gentle and he very much encouraged us to get what we wanted from the album.
Yeah, he's the least pushy man you would ever meet.
Yeah, and very talented as well. He's paying me to say that though.
You've played to a variety of crowds this summer at different festivals. You've got a video up on YouTube and you seem a little bit apprehensive about playing in front of a crowd. How, you know, do you try to cater to the audience with what you play?
That's definitely one for you to answer.
Yeah, I used to do very, very much because I come from a nursing home musical entertainer background, and that's what I do every day, and I have to cater my music for my audience. And I think initially, when I first started doing my own music and our music, certainly when I was doing my music on my own, I almost felt a bit apologetic about it, and I was always trying to put cover versions in and try and kind of disguise it a little bit. But working with Heidi, I've realised that actually was holding me back in some ways, and it wasn't a good idea to kind of, in some ways, I was assuming my audience wouldn't like our music and our songs. And something changed just before the summer. We did a few gigs and I noticed there was a change in reaction, and maybe I'd changed a little bit. And I'd learned to love the songs. I know that might sound a bit weird, but learning to love the songs that we've written, and I do love them, even if that sounds conceited and vain, means that I think we've been able to connect with the audience more, and we've just had such a fantastic summer, haven't we? The response has been amazing, and I think that's partly because, well, my mindset has changed about the songs and the music. I think you always loved them, and, you know...
I think it's just having a bit of self-belief that the stuff that you do, some people will love it, some people won't, but you've got to take that risk and just do what you want to do.
Yeah.